Welcome back to part 2 of the Motorhome channel. In part 1 we had loads of fun with the French in the form of this Galaxy 50 from Pilote. Now then, on paper this Hymer 644 Classic is very similar, it has lots of things in common. But what's it actually like? What are the differences? We're going to find out when we get the grips with the Germans. Right, well, with the Pilote I got quite excited about the outside of the van. The Hymer, not so much, although there's a nice big gas logger here with two 13-kilo gas bottles in it. 1 point for the Germans. Moving around here, nothing else. Bike rack on the back. And here on this side, again, just this one big door, which leads us into the garage. Now, that space as it is great, but it isn't enough to fit a bike or a couple of bikes. However, I should lift up this here. We now have plenty of room for 2, 3, even 4 bikes. Although, because you've got a bike rack on the back, you could sort of put all sorts of other stuff in here, which is great. So, lots of storage at the back on the Hymer. With the Pilote, I mentioned that they'd actually moved the Habitation Door to what in the UK is the correct side, the near side. That's not the case with the Hymer. So if you have children and you park in a busy street, you're going to have to be careful because they're going to be getting out into the traffic. Well, as you'll have seen from outside the van, there's an overcab bed. Here it is. With all beds of this type, it's quite high off the ground. But it is a massive bed. Look at it. You could play tennis in there or all sorts of things. But you've got to bear in mind that with a bed like this, you're going to need a ladder to get up to it. And you have to ask yourself, do you really want to be climbing up and down a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-runged ladder to get in and out of bed? Think about it. What about seating? Well, here it is. Now, here's a bit of a funny thing. The Germans, they're very precise and they like things to be just right. So if this is a 6-berth motorhome, how come it's only got 4 seats? Well, there are 2 in the front, but as I said earlier, you can't actually use them when you're in the living area. So I think really we have to consider this to be a 4-berth motorhome. Now then, here right at the back we come to the bunks. You can use both bunks, or as we saw earlier, if you lift this one up, you've got the one bunk and a massive garage. Little ladder here. It's ideal for kids. They're going to love sleeping in this. And I think if you're a family, this is just perfect. So, how does a German washroom compare to a French washroom? Well, my first impression is that it's a lot darker in here. It's all okay. But, oh, Donner und Blitzen, was ist das? Oh dear, say no more. Which is better to drive? Well, it all depends what you want. The Pilote has fantastic visibility as a result of the massive windscreen and the huge side windows. But on the other hand, this is more easy to adapt to if you've just come straight from a car because it's much more car-like. I can see pretty much where the corners of the van are. There's a lot less doubt in my mind about where the van is on the road. So you surely get used to the Pilote, but to start off with, and if you're a little bit unsure about driving, if you're not keen on driving, then probably the Hymer wins. So there you have 2 motorhomes which on paper are very similar indeed, but as we've seen, they're actually completely different. Let's have a look at those specifications in more detail. The Pilote costs £27,995. The Hymer costs £26,995. The Pilote was built in 2003. The Hymer was built in 2005. The Pilote's done 22,572 miles. The Hymer's done 26,829 miles. The Pilote is 22 feet 3 inches long. The Hymer is 22 feet 11 inches long. They're both built on a Fiat Ducato chassis. They've both got the same engine. They've both got the same gearbox, and they're both 6-berth motorhomes. So which one wins, France or Germany? Well, in my opinion, neither. It all depends what you want. If you're a young family with 1, maybe 2 children, you're going to have to go for the Hymer. It'll be great to go out at weekends and on extended holidays as well. If you're an older couple and maybe you've got 2 friends, hey, the Pilote is going to be absolutely ideal. So there it is. You pay your money and you take your choice. C'est la vie. Das ist das Leben. Auf Wiedersehen.